it's finally here. What seemed like years ended up being a couple months. But here we are in the year 2019 in this alternate universe, and a lot has changed, especially with the whole driver lineup. It's definitely changed. This experiment I think I'm doing is going to be quite a fun ride. So what happened there during the off seasons that we had? Bobby Labonte became the new king of NASCAR, winning 8 straight championships in a row. A feat that may never happen again in NASCAR, and we will have our own line of superstars ready to roll out to win for the championship here in 2019. Honestly, it was a bit of a no surprise that Bobby Labonte won 8 championships in a row in this alternate universe. Seeing how I've seen other streamers really use that sort of thing, and they saw like Labonte just destroy everybody and everything, so it was kind of expected. So here's also going to be some ground rules for the season to try to limit my overpowered success that we've had so far in this game. We're winning 14 times the last time we played in 2002. So the rules for the season are as follows. Rule number 1 is I am not allowed to build any new parts. I can repair and overhaul them, but nothing more. Second one is if I won a track at previously and or completely dominated the race, like if I didn't win a race, but I could still completely like just mosh pitted the field, I am forced to run a default setup, which does include the gearing. However, I can make pit road adjustments if need be. This is an attempt to balance for some tracks that may still seem like a struggle, like Atlanta, Las Vegas, New Hampshire, etc., but also makes tracks harder for like the short tracks like in Darlington, because let's be honest, the short tracks we just absolutely curb stomped the last time we did it. So we're trying to balance it out a little bit here. Daytona and Talladega are forced default, meaning no pit stop adjustments are allowed either. This is again trying to nerf myself as much as possible, trying to even the playing field, because I really don't want to go out and dominate the race. I just want to make this racing seem fun. I just want to make this a fun content for you. This is a fun channel, of course. To make the challenge season even harder, I must start and last each race. So each race is going to be starting from P43 all the way up to P1. And of course, the last one that we're going to have here is we're lacking funding. That's right. There's no in-game sponsors. So the only income I get is where I finish in the race. So the Daytona 500 obviously going to be the most important race of the entire season, because it gives us the most amount of money as well. But it also gives us a push to try to get with those no full 5 races too. We are not competing in the first one. I'll show you more about that in a little bit. But for now, we're going to show you off the brand new driver lineup for the 2019 season. So we're going to begin right now with that. Starting off with DEI, we have the one of Steve Park. He didn't get replaced in our normal playthrough, went winless, but having an almost win against Jeff Gordon at Talladega. Then in the simulation up to 2018, he ended up winning a total of 19 times in 702 starts. He even having a 5-win season in 2018 and a 3-win one in 2014. Maybe the game will be kind to him this time, so he can get one more for the road, yeah? Dale Earnhardt Jr. is still in the number 8 car, but now he's sporting the Nationwide Chevrolet as he lost his Budweiser sponsorship to another team that's on the market. That'll be shown later on in the video. Still somehow being winless after 18 full-time seasons. People are beginning to wonder if he will ever win. He only has 30 more starts to make it happen, though, before this career mode is officially over, because this is the 20th in-game year for us. So we wouldn't be able to tell if he'll ever win afterwards if he doesn't end in this one or not. But what we have here, of course, is a beautiful blue Nationwide Chevrolet with the light blue DEI stripes. I also made a blackout variant for the paint scheme as well here. You can see it's also beautiful in black. I'm hoping this gets run at some point in the season as well, because I know the blue one is going to be our primary one. You can see like the Wrangler, Sundrop, and helmets are on the car as well. So he's hoping to get himself just one win. Even with, like, I would prefer him to win in this paint scheme actually, but he needs to get one win just to say that he can get that monkey off his back. Next, we have Team Penske and, of course, the number 2 car. Just ignore the picture of Rusty Wallace there. I just didn't want to try to figure out like how to work with the imaging there. So you'll see the picture of Rusty Wallace there, but of course it is Hank Parker Jr. that replaces Rusty Wallace in the 2 car. I didn't have a new paint scheme plan for him. I mean, if I did, it would probably be like something like Menards or like Discount Tire or something like that. Just like something you would see on the current NASCAR today with that, but I decided not to. I say that Penske and Miller wanted to continue their partnership still there. Unfortunately for Hank, no wins up to his career, up to this point in his career, but definitely a lot to prove to the captain. and the captain really wants winners. So definitely for sure, he needs to step up his game just a little bit there. And on the other side of the spectrum of the team, things have been rather bleak for Jeremy Mayfield, who still drives at number 12 for Team Penske, but still only has one career win back in 1998. That's winless in 20 seasons. You would think Roger would have done something like, I don't know, put Ryan Newman in there, but unfortunately, a miscalculation of retirements made him retire too soon. Whoops. So Mayfield has 34 races left to prove himself before he retires that he can go out there and win for the captain here. Now we head to RCR and the 3-car of Andy Houston, who we did see winning a race back in Season 1 when he was in the 96 PPI car at Talladega, now driving for Richard Childress Racing in the 3. He ended up having the longest gap between race wins upon active drivers from 2000 to 2010. First replacing Dale Sr. in 2006, he's only acquired 3 more race wins since then. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a custom paint scheme for him just yet, but we shall see. I'm not sure what type of paint scheme it would suit Andy Houston, though. That's another thing I have to consider as well. And a bit of an oddball choice from Richard to tap Hermie Sadler in the 31. But after losing the low sponsorship, he had to get funding somewhere, and the power of Virginia of Hermie Sadler appears to foot the bill. Having a pay driver on your team just shows your team needs a rebuild. But we have seen pay drivers win in real life NASCAR, so it can happen. If you are in the field, you have a shot to win. He also has his Go Team VA scheme from Thunder 04 as well, just because I wanted to have that vibe from Thunder 04. Like, I would probably see this car like appear every now and then. Of course, it doesn't look that bad on 31, really. Honestly, both these paint schemes don't look pretty bad. I think I did a pretty good job painting Hermes cars for the season. Now we have Hendrick Motorsports in the number 5, the flagship number for Rick Hendrick, belonging to Randy LaJoie. It's kind of funny how Randy got the Hendrick ride, but his son Corey did not after his in-real-life disappointment subbing for Chase Elliott. So Father Randy says, fine, I'll do it myself. But with only one career win to his credit, he understands that maybe winning in the highest level, even for a great team, is harder than it looks. I mean, if winning was easy, literally I could do it, right? In real life, I could probably go out there and win a NASCAR race if it was that easy. The legendary Jeff Gordon, still driving the 24 car, definitely struggled when we were out there on the track, as in 3 in-game seasons we ran. Only notched 1 win, that should have been 2, but the game said no, randomly despawned from second place in that one Charlotte race in Season 3. But as soon as we hit the simulation, prime Jeff Gordon returned, even getting a 4th championship in 2016. It just makes you wonder, where the hell was this during the normal game career mode? With one final season, the drive for 5 is still alive for Jeff Gordon. Rounding out the Hendrick trio, we have Jerry Nadeau, who is still in the 25 car, who unfortunately still winless, but acquired a new sponsor in the form of UAW Delphi. But with Hendrick Motorsports, unfortunately, in this alternate universe, it's like the 3-headed dragon meme or Hydra meme, where the 2 of the heads look serious and the 1 looks derpy, but in this case, 2 of them got the derpy heads. But Jerry's a very talented driver and has shown his resilience, and hey, until this point, no career-ending injury, so we got that going for you, Jerry Nadeau fans. I mean, it's gotten that for me as well. I mean, I like Jerry. I hope he gets a win at some point. Roush Racing is up next, and Greg Biffle ends up going to Roush after all in this alternate universe as well. But not in the 16 car, but the 6. He ended up winning Rookie of the Year last season in 2018. He may also get a paint scheme at some point as well in the playthrough, but nothing's promised, of course. But we all know the Biff really likes to do well in real life, so we hope the Biff does a great success here in the number 6. It's a flagship car for Roush. Of course you got to do well, especially when you got the Biff behind the wheel. Of course. Biff is so talented. I hope he gets himself a win in the number 6 in this playthrough as well. Not Greg Biffle, but in the 16, it's Justin Labonte that takes the ride for Roush. Being the son of 2-time champion Terry Labonte, there has been definitely a lot of pressure to find success. But with only 1 top 5 and 136 starts, it's just more than likely it'll just be an uphill battle in 2019 for Justin Labonte. I was planning on making a paint scheme for him, but again, time crunch here as well. You also got to think about this as well. I'm the one making all these paint schemes for all these drivers as well. Yeah, so maybe he'll get one. I already have an idea like what it would be if it was the case for a paint scheme, but yeah, we shall see. Matt Kenseth, our 2000 Rookie of the Year winner, still at the helm of the 17 DeWalt Ford. His success always seemed to outshine Dale Jr. in every step of the way, even winning the Sonoma race in Season 1 of this playthrough. Ever since the sim-through, however, he has had some decent success, oftentimes having a 1-win wonder season. He hopes to become more like the team captain Jeff Burton and become a championship contender. Trying to win more than 1 race in a season it's going to be really tough with the competition being as fierce as this. The Giga Chad Little did not end up being replaced in the 97, as he has now well passed J.D. McDuffie's record for having the most starts without a win in his career, certainly sitting at 835. And at a top team like Roush, you'd think he would at least get one, but not really. The sim didn't do him any favors. He's hoping for a miracle to finally get into that victory circle that he's been so chasing for all these years. Jeff Burton in the 99 has essentially became the new favorite to win the title, as our Season 2 champion back in 2001 ended up winning 4 more titles, being a double defending champion from 2017 and 2018, but also winning 2013 and 2014 as well. Jeff has been better than ever since Bobby Labonte put on an absolute catastrophe on the field. XI Batteries obviously wanted to stay with Jeff Burton, being a double defending champion not once, but twice. He's trying to go for 3 in a row, something that has not been done since, well, Bobby Labonte himself, winning 8 straight titles. He's trying to get 6 this season. Mark Green drives the number 9 from Melling Racing, who ended up replacing Stacey Compton, who originally was supposed to be Ron Fellows, who had the major success in the 9 car. I believe in the live stream he ended up winning 15 times before Mark Green took over in 2018. With a pretty piss-poor rookie season and a new ownership stake with Bill Elliott, maybe, just maybe, Mark can get it with it now. Kodiak will still become the main sponsor for the number 9, but I said ownership stake within the team of Melling. Well, that's because it is now a 2-car team. That's right. With Bill Elliott having a stake with Melling Racing, he manages to add a second car to the team with the number 94 of Jason Leffler. Leffler's had some success in 94, winning 2 races in his career up until this point. Bill and Jason having to pick up the FedEx sponsorship for the entire season, so definitely a motivational boost for the team. All 4 variants of Leffler's 2005 Joe Gibbs campaign and real life are on here. So you can see the FedEx freight, the ground, and also the Kinko's as well, or the Office sponsorship as well. From the Office, the ground, the Kinko's. I mean, I really wish FedEx could have had the multicolored stuff like they used to do. They used to have so many cool paint schemes back then. Now we have MB2 Motorsports up next, and Johnny Benson still drives the number 10 Aaron's Dream Machine with partner sponsorship with Lycos. Benson has shown some flashes of brilliance in his career mode, now winning 11 times in his 774 starts up to this point. He plans to show one last bit of brilliance before the career mode ends in 34 races time. With Tyler Jett now sitting out, MB2 takes over the 10 team. I know in-game it'll say Tyler Jett Motorsports, but I'm just saying it's MB2 Motorsports anyway. His teammate in question, Kevin Harvick. That's right, Kevin Harvick will take over the number 36 with the Mars sponsorship still intact. Harvick had a slow rookie season in 2009, but he did end up having multi-win seasons, something the 36 team has not had. So Ken Schrader has picked the right guy for the job, or at least in the simulations. Will that success transfer over into 2019? Only time will tell. There may be a new scheme for him if there is, if I do decide to paint one for him. But if I do, it will most likely be a skills car, something that we have not seen before in this career mode. I just thought a skills car would be nice. So maybe at some point the skills car will be made. Meanwhile, we head to the powerhouse Joe Gibbs Racing Pontiac, starting with the 18 of Kurt Busch, who has had big shoes to fill ever since Bobby Labonte, who played the game on rookie difficulty, winning 8 straight championships, oftentimes blowouts. Kurt has had some success. With 9 wins to his credit now, he plans to take the very next step in his career and go after that championship with his sponsor, Monster Energy, on board. Of course, it's really a plain paint scheme with Monster Energy. It's been pretty much like the gold standard with Kurt Busch driving that Monster Energy paint scheme. So I figured, why not put that Monster Energy onto the career mode as well? We need no introduction to Tony Stewart, still running 20. Our Season 1 champion now has the record with the longest gap between championships, beating out Terry Labonte's 12-year gap. Winning the 2015 title as well, his impressive back-to-back multi-win seasons, oftentimes winning more than 5 races in a season, ever since being winless in 2002, aka our Season 3 of our career mode. He is no doubt going to be a favorite in this season's title, as he's trying to go for title number 3 here in 2019. We head to Bill Davis Racing next, and we start off with good old Ward Burton, who is still in the 22 Caterpillar Pontiac. Ward has been having mixed bag seasons, but his last season in 2018, he finished second to his brother Jeff in the point standings, winning a very impressive 6 races that year. He plans to be a championship threat to try to finally beat his brother for a title that he's been oh so chasing for a long time with that team. Now, this was a rather strange but classic pick, but short track champion Dick Trickle is back in a NASCAR Cup ride. The 77-year-old man who has not ran a Cup race since 1999 got tapped to drive the 93 Amoco Pontiac and hoping to have any sort of success. I don't know how the sim put him in this ride. I was personally hoping for Scott Wimber to take the ride for somewhat accuracy purposes. But now he can fight with yet another older driver who'd be the superior old man in the racetrack that I'll be saying later on in the video, so stay tuned for that. We now come to Robert Yates Racing with two brand new drivers. First one being Bobby Hamilton Jr., who has had moderate success in the Busch Series, replacing the retired Ricky Rudd. Trying to have success like his father did, he ended up winning one race so far. So he's definitely going to try to get himself another one before this career mode is over. His scheme, of course, I created based on his Marines Busch Series car that he had a great title with in 2003. But, of course, I like the 2004 variant where they had like the flames on the sides or whatnot. I think it's a lot cooler look. But, yeah, he's going to be sporting the Marines as his primary sponsor. Of course, we might be able to see, like, the Haviland, like, the throwback car that's on there, too. He's, like, one of the options that are in the game. So we hope to get to see both Marines and Haviland have a great season with the 28 and Bobby Hamilton Jr. And the 88 has been assigned to Adam Petty. Adam wanted to do things his own way rather than having his name carry on to drive for his grandfather's team. With no wins in his career as of yet, he's definitely hungry for one. He's brought the Spree car as his primary scheme. We may be able to see his sprint car at some point in the season. I will debate on whether or not I feel like I want to paint that, of course. I already painted a lot of cars for this playthrough, so I might consider the sprint car as well. Like, it will have the classic red variant, but of course the more modern yellow, but even maybe a T-Mobile car because of the merge between Sprint and T-Mobile. We shall see. It's all depending on how I feel with all this stuff that's been going on with me and whatnot. I mean, I already paint all these cars. I like this car too. I can see why it was the most popular car in the posts that I have on the Facebook group, not Facebook, the YouTube channel here. I can see why you guys really like this car so much, especially with recently Adam Petty's death in real life. You know, of course, that gets a little bit more attention, of course, in itself. Haas Carter Motorsports, of course, has a new driver lineup for the season, as we begin with the number 26 of Jay Sauter, who has taken over for Jimmy Spencer. Kmart will still essentially the team sponsor for both organizations, but it'll be primarily for Jay, with 5 top 5s and 13 top 10s and 204 starts. You could say that for Haas Carter team, you know, that would be solid. However, we have his teammate, Jimmy Johnson, was the biggest highlight of Season 3 silly season, replacing Darrell Waltrip all the way back in 2002. Since then, he's acquired a low sponsorship off of RCR to help for this championship run. While winless in the first season he ran, he has since been excellent, winning 17 races in his Cup career up to his point, and finishing as high as 6th in the standings multiple times. He plans to finally win that championship for the team, and he was ready to rock the competition. I also made a fantasy Cobalt livery, as you can see here. The color, the black and blue, kind of like swapped in a different place there. I don't know. I think I like both. I like both these schemes, really. It's going to be a really good look for Jimmy Johnson in that Lowe's car this season. Andy Petrie Racing, our old team that we've driven and won a championship for, no longer having services with them after our time away from the track. We see that Joe Nemechek still drives the 33 with Oakwood Homes still on board. Joe has only gotten one more win since our departure back in 2013, but maybe without me being the team captain, he will surely need to step up to the plate because there's another very talented teammate that he'll need to compete with, and that is Jason Keller, who takes over the 55 for Andy Petrie Racing. Although he has no wins yet in his still up-and-coming Winston Cup career, he essentially made the Busch Series his own, winning championship after championship in this alternative universe, now getting tapped to run the Cup team we formerly won a championship for. We made his car based on Bobby Hamilton Sr.'s 2002 Cup car, because I really like this car so much. That's the reason why I even bothered painting it like that. Hoping that the new look for it would set the 55 to victory lane since 2000 at Daytona, because remember, Kenny Wallace actually won the Season 1 Daytona night race here on this channel. I also made the variant here with the Schneider Electric logo on the hood, and also the normal Square D variant as well. We might have the white Square D car that Bobby Hamilton ran in 2002, but we shall see. Keller is hoping to win a few races in this season to get himself a first chance of the title, or his first championship title in 2019. We head to Petty Enterprises next, and the 43 is still driven by John Andretti. I decided to swap the primary STP scheme with him. I thought this one was always better. I thought this one should have been the main one for just my opinion, rather than this one here. I just think this one looks a lot better. That's just my opinion, of course. That's why I'm having him run that car, hopefully for the vast majority of the season. Now, Andretti has gotten a lot of poles, but is having a hard time staying up there. If he can somehow find a way to close the deals, he would have a lot more success just rather having only like 3 wins up to his name in his career. And his teammate is Jack Sprague, who replaces Kyle Petty in the 44. Being one of the greatest of all time in the Truck Series was quite boring for Jack, and signing on board with the 44 proves that he wanted a challenge. And a challenge he got. With 207 starts and only 1 top 5, some may say he might have bit off more than he could chew with at most a midfield team. But he's determined to push his team forward and try to get himself a lot more needed success than he's been showing for. I mean, he could win the Truck Championship with a top-tier team. He could try to strive to become a somewhat successful in a midfield team, right? Felix Sabates of Team Sapco is up next, and the man behind the Coors Light Chevrolet is Andy Santerre in the number 40. He hasn't had much success yet in his Winston Cup career, only scoring 4 top 10s, not even a single top 5. But Felix believes in Andy, and he can still have a chance to prove people wrong with him, and just shows that he can bring that silver bullet up to the very front. And his teammate driving the number 42 car is Anthony Lazzaro, who until 2017 didn't have much of any success at all. 2017 was a great year for him, even ending up winning the Watkins Glen race that year with 2 top 5s to boot. With recent success of those years, he hopes to have a very solid year in 2019 to bring that 42 Bell South car to some much needed success. Moving on now, we're going to talk about the single car operations that will take part in the 2019 season. Up first, we have the number 4 of Jeff Green, replacing Bobby Hamilton Sr. from Morgan McLaurin Motorsports. Literally in his second full-time season, he ended up winning the championship all the way back in 2011. With 25 wins now under his belt, he plans to add more and maybe be a threat for the championship again with the sponsor Nestle Nesquik. But he'll have some very strong competition. Kodak has taken a back seat as far as sponsorship goes, and so Morgan is definitely happy to have Nestle come aboard from Jeff's Busch Series days, where he absolutely just terrorized the whole tier there. The 7 car is Glenn Allen Jr., replacing Michael Waltrip. Nothing much of expectation out of him, unfortunately, as he only ended up having 1 top 5 and 7 full-time seasons. I mean, to say the least, unfortunately for Glenn, I'm not expecting any heroics, but miracles can happen for him. I mean, after all, we had Scott Pruitt actually somehow winning a Watkins Glen race legitimately, so anything could happen, though, for Glenn. I mean, there's going to be a, somewhat of a chance for him, right? The 11 team has been rebought by Junior Johnson himself. He got tired of seeing Brett Bodine fail as a team owner and literally rebought the team, bringing back Junior Johnson and Associates, as well as sponsors from his 1992 campaign with both Budweiser and Maxwell House. As you're going to show you the liveries here real quick. This is a fantasy white and red invert Budweiser scheme, but of course as well the Maxwell House liveries, both a blue, like from his Sterling Marlin days car here, as well as a fantasy invert as well. So all 4 schemes are just basically on Junior Johnson's 1992 campaign for the team, of course. He taps Mike Borkowski to drive the 11, not Wazowski. With only 1 full-time season under his belt, he only ended up 35th in the standings. But that was when Brett Bodine was at the team skipper. Now, with Junior Johnson taking ownership again, he wants to at least slowly but surely bring this team back to its former glory as of being a championship caliber team. Tony Roper joins AJ Foyt Racing in the 14 car, where he was replacing this really struggling Rick Mast. Unfortunately for AJ, his driver since 2012 has been rather lackluster, not finishing higher than 33rd in the point standings. Again, miracles can happen for Tony and his team, but again, I just don't see any much success for our Conseco Pontiac friend, but we can always hope and cheer him on, and hopefully he can finish higher than 33rd in the standings. For the Wood Brothers, they had a rather strange pick seeing how old this driver is now, but the 21 is taken over by Ron Hornaday, who hasn't ran a Cup race since 1999, so 20 years without a Cup Series start. He'll be competing with Dick Trickle there on the oldest driver list here and see who's the superior old man, but no reason to think that he is a slouch. Winning Truck Series and Xfinity Series championships, bringing an old-school driver to an old-school team like the Wood Brothers can really bring some absolute synergy with that team that was lacking for years. This paint scheme, of course, was based on Josh Berry's current Wood Brothers car here today. I just thought we might as well just modernize the car to look like Josh Berry's thing, because honestly, this car looks really, really cool, especially if it looks like a classic look here for the Wood Brothers there. It looks really nice here. I'm hoping this runs for essentially the vast majority of the season. This looks really nice. PPI Motorsports has acquired Casey Atwood to drive the Tide Ride for the season. Joining all the way back in 2006, he is still yet to score a win. Some may say he may be the biggest bust in NASCAR history, but Casey has a lot of talent and, more importantly now, a lot of experience. Maybe he can put that Tide ride back to where it belongs. Hey, if Scott Pruitt was able to, I believe Casey would be able to as well. So I definitely want to see, hopefully, Casey Atwood have at least a little bit of success in here and try to go himself, get that elusive first win for him. The 41 has been taken over by Chad Chaffin, bringing the Dickey sponsorship with the team for Larry Hedrick. Not much to say about Chad, except that this paint scheme was based on his stint with Bobby Hamilton Racing, when he drove the Dickey's Dodge. Unfortunately, not really that much of a success in the seasons that he's had so far. So we're hoping for our Dickey sponsorship friend here to have a lot of success here in that number 41. Hopefully he can get himself maybe like top 20 in the points, I would say. That would be the goal for him in my book. For Joe Bessie Racing, we have Lyndon Amick, who has taken over the 60 ride. After a brief stint in the National Guard, he has returned to racing form, so we do thank him for his service, of course. Unfortunately, for his tenured Cup Series career, he's only scored only one top 5 out of 340 starts, but even so, if a veteran loves to race, there is certainly no shame with being the best of the best. His pace scheme is based on Casey Mears' 2007 Coke 600 win, sporting that very, awesome, iconic camo paint scheme with the National Guard, so we do appreciate for your service here, Lyndon, and we're glad to see you here in the NASCAR Cup Series field. Tony Raines has taken over to 75 for Galaxy Motorsports, replacing a struggling Wally Dallenbach with a mid to back market team. Having 4 top 10s and 68 starts is still pretty adequate, though. It shows that with the right team, Tony could have been able to thrive and put more proper results on the board. But Galaxy Motorsports is hoping to go a little bit further with that 75 team, knowing that Tony Raines is a great driver behind the wheel. Tim Fedewa replaced Robert Presley in the 77, and unfortunately for the team, nothing much has changed as far as results go since arriving in 2014. He's hopes to put that Jasper Motorsports car towards the front just to give any sort of morale for that team that they so need. Rumor has it they might be having an alliance with Team Penske soon, but maybe in 2020 when that happens. Now, the Daytona 500 is considered to be one of the No Bull 5 or Jackpot 5 races on the schedule, so I will be having special paint schemes for the drivers that are in running for the $1 million bonus. This would involve having a red roof number and a red splitter and rear spoiler. So on the screen is a screenshot of the 2018 EA Sports 500 results towards the end of that second live stream we've had a while back, where Jeff Green, Ward Burton, Jason Keller, Jimmy Johnson, and Johnny Benson will all compete for the $1 million bonus within our first episode of our Season 4 career mode. So definitely one of those 5 drivers is hopefully going to take away the $1 million bonus. Of course, you will see them have the red roof number and the red spoiler and splitter. For those who know, I am a Matt DiBenedetto fan, so of course with the new number font comes with a new team, Viking Motorsports, owned by Don Sackett. We will be competing for this team, but unlike real life, we will have a technical partnership with RCR, running ECR engines, and having potentially various sponsors, such as Recycled Materials Association, as you can see on the card, of course, especially for the first few races of the season. I mean, just look at this. I'm just glad I was able to make this paint scheme happen, of course, as well. You can see the Ride-Tash towing straps on there, on the C-pillar as well. Really nice car. I'm glad I was able to make this paint scheme work, of course. We're just really hoping to bring that Viking Motorsports car to the championship here as we're trying to go win our first championship since 2002. We've been away from the steering wheel for a long period of time, so definitely a little bit of a, rust that's still on the shoulders. But, of course, yeah, that's really all there really is to say about this now. This is the brand new paint scheme, brand new team. Of course, you can see the roof number here. It has like a little bit of a gradient from purple to yellow anyway. I think this ride is sharp. Of course, for those who know me by now, I am a DiBenedetto fan, so that's the reason why you're going to be seeing this font and this team, and pretty much maybe this sponsor throughout the entirety of the season. But yeah, so definitely for sure, we're glad to make that happen. And of course, as well, I was a little afraid to even think about trying to add the 2 races to the schedule, like Chicagoland and Kansas. So it's still going to be the same 34 race format here for the season. That's why I keep mentioning 34 races rather than 36. I just don't want to mess up the save file now, is what I'm saying. So once again, well, here we are. 2019, we're ready to rock and roll for the season, of course. We have our old rules lined up and ready to rock and roll. We are ready. We're ready for the season, of course, but that'll be until Season 1. So, guys, if you enjoyed this preseason, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. It helps out the channel quite a bit. And as always, we will be ready for you really, really soon for our final Daytona 500. See you guys next time.